Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be talking about a topic that I feel like is quite near and dear to my heart. It is the importance of goalkeepers, and I think this season, more than almost any other season in in Manchester United Premier League history, proves why having a fantastic goalkeeper is absolutely essential to team success. Now, of course, what prompted this video was Senna Loman's winning the Signing of the Season award, which I think he 100% fully deserves. Now, I just want to start off by saying that obviously there are many positions in football, all of which have a great importance. Anybody who thinks to even say that one position is not important or requires less skill just has a very little or very rudimentary understanding of how football works, in my opinion. Because every position is so important, but more than any position on the pitch, I feel like having a stable goalkeeper is just, it's just so refreshing to watch. Obviously, as a Manchester United fan, I've been subjected to the pains of watching Andre Onana play week in, week out for my beloved football team. And I have to say, I have never had the distinct displeasure akin to that of maybe getting a root canal. I've never had such displeasure in watching somebody play for Manchester United. I'm always so happy to watch Manchester United play, but I've never had such a distinct displeasure to watching a player like Andre Onana play. He is as a goalkeeper, you're one of two things. You're either a traditional goalkeeper or you are what most people call a sweeper keeper. A sweeper keeper, you think of a sweeper keeper, you think of Manuel Neuer, somebody who regularly goes outside of his box, is able to play passes, is comfortable on the ball, acts more of a defender, part of the defence, rather than sort of a separate entity. And obviously you have your traditional keepers. You think of people like Petr Cech, Edwin van der Sar, who could still use their feet, but their primary sort of focus was, staying in net, being that sort of brick wall. And not saying that sweeper keepers can't be that. I mean, Manuel Neuer is the best keeper that I've seen in my lifetime. And he was an absolute brick wall at his peak, but I feel like my audience does know what I'm getting at in terms of sweeper keepers being, maybe less inclined with the sort of positional, technical aspect of goalkeeping. Andre Onana is terrible at both. He's terrible with his feet, and I don't even want to get started on his ability to stop shots. I mean, he has a unique ability to somehow guide the ball into the goal. Now, that'd be an excellent trait as a striker. An excellent trait to be able to guide the ball into the goal. If you're a goalkeeper, that is potentially the worst trait to ever have. And that is the trait that Andre Onana has. But this summer, we upgraded massively to Senna Loman's. And just watching the difference between Onana and Loman's made me realise, like, honestly, just wow, like having a stable goalkeeper in net gives the entire defence confidence. There were multiple occasions this season where Loman's misplaced a pass and there was immense pressure on the Man United goal. But instead of the defenders sort of being like, oh, not again, dropping their heads, I mean, even if it was a one-on-one, the defenders almost seemed to, expect Loman's to save it. Which means the defenders are much less likely to make rash tackles, things like that. Now, not only does a great goalkeeper prevent goal, I mean, obviously but not only does a great goalkeeper prevent goals and wins you games and saves you games, pun intended, they motivate the defence. Because like I said, there were times when defenders at Man United, not out of arrogance, but but it was out of confidence, where they were like, oh, Senny's got this, Lamans has got this, easy. And that made me realise, like, these defenders are playing so much better, and the defence as a whole is playing so much better, because Lamans is commanding. He commands his box, unlike Onana, who seemed to be, on crosses. He seemed to be like a deer in the head. I mean, it's almost offensive it's almost offensive to Deer, calling him a deer in the headlights. I mean, Onana was absolutely lost on crosses and corners and things like that. Whereas Lamans, you can see, commands his area. You see him being vocal. I mean, at the age of 23, in front of 75,000 fans, he's able to command his box. He's able to, see eye to eye and direct players like, Harry Maguire, who's, been through the battles, direct Casemiro, who's been through the biggest battles in football. And he's just able to command his box. He's able to command his area. But Onana, even near the end, wasn't able to do that because he didn't have that respect. And I'm not saying the players disrespected him. I'm saying the players didn't trust him as much. The players trust Lamans. They trust that he knows what he's doing. He's making the right decision, even at the age of 23, from the Belgian league. I feel like they never had the same trust in Onana's ability. And one of the most interesting things to watch is just the body language of the defenders. Like, I recently watched the Galatasaray game, and you see the defenders sort of almost not give up, but almost be like, oh, not this again. Even the attackers, they were like, we worked so hard to get a goal, and he's just basically palmed it into the own net. I mean, it's absolutely night and day. And there are times when I genuinely think that what was it, 15 million pound signing and Senny Lamans has saved Manchester United, and that was actually not an intended pun, but has absolutely just saved Manchester United. I mean, Manchester United have a rich history of always having great goalkeepers. You think from Peter Schmeichel to Edwin van der Sar to, David De Gea. I would argue Peter Schmeichel, Van der Sar, David De Gea, 3 of the 4 best keepers that the Premier League's ever seen. The other being, obviously, Petr Cech. Man United have always been built off a rock-solid, legendary goalkeeper. And I genuinely think Senna Lamans can be that. When I look at a 23-year-old Senna Lamans, he is better than De Gea was at that age. De Gea had a mistake in him. And De Gea near the end also did have a mistake in him. And so does, every goalkeeper has a mistake in them, let's be honest. But Senna Lamans is so good. He is so just commanding of his area, great shot stopper, good with his feet, and the player you want to protect that back line, to command that back line, to sort of be that last line of protection. How many games do you think we won 1-0, 2-1, 3-2, maybe scraped a 1-1 draw, scraped a 2-2 draw or something like that, 0-0. How many of those games would have gone the other way, and how many points would we have lost if we had a certain somebody? How many games would we have lost if we didn't have them? And I know the really flashy signings are Sesko and Burmo, Sesko scoring the goals and Burmo, Cunha. I know those are the sort of popular signings, but I think apart from Bruno Fernandes, obviously, Senna Lommans has been the best Premier League signing for Manchester United since probably Robin van Persie, David De Gea. Since then, apart from Bruno Fernandes, I think Senna Lommans has been an absolute treat to watch. And £15 million as well. Absolute insanity. Anyways, that's it for, the quick video. Just wanted it to be a little bit of a Senna Lommans appreciation post. But thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.